What do you make of the rapid uptick that we've seen when it comes to GameStop's stock price in recent weeks? I mean, I look at these charts and I start to think, hey, we're back in January of 2021 again.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. Katie, thanks for having me back. I don't know if I'm going to go that far to call it Jan 21. There's no stimmies hanging out. Like you said, demand destruction with, gas and grocery prices pinching consumers' pocketbooks is, I think, probably taking some of that ammunition out of retail's hands. But you're right. It's been an incredible pivot from reaching the low points since in mid-March, right? So speaking about GameStop specifically, I think the catalyst was you had earnings, which came in. Top line results were a bit better than expected. Everything else was rather worse, which in the context of what Cohen laid out in the November 2020 letter before he even took things over, he always said it's going to be a very long-oriented transformation like he did with Chewy. I know you were talking about Chewy in the short term just now, but Chewy was always a very long-term oriented approach. We're going to forsake short-term profits, just like the Jeff Bezos mantra, in the anticipation that we'll grow a long-term rabid consumer base. And GameStop took it on the chin in gross margins. They were down to like 17% in the fourth quarter, but I think that that's in line with their transformation. They're looking to regain consumer confidence, rebuild their consumer base. They're seeing some results of that. Their Power Up Rewards Pro paid members are up 30% over the year, so they're seeing some early results, I think, from that reoriented focus on drawing back in gamers. But really, it's a sentiment story, right? Cohen bought 100,000 shares, pushing his ownership stake up to 11.9%. on the 22nd of March. And if you look at the chart that day, it seems like other people might have had a sense something was happening too, because the stock closed up at 123, up from, I think, 95 or so. And it continued on. There were some incremental insider buys from other board members, and meme mania seemed to be back on the menu.
Right. And Rod, there's so much to dig into there. But like you laid out, there's a lot of fundamental news about GameStop, about this revitalization effort. But like you also said, it's a very sentiment-driven stock. And given the gains that we've seen in the past couple of weeks, I'm looking at 125% gain since March 14th or so. Who do you think is driving this? I mean, do you think this is mostly retail investors, or do you think, more institutional Wall Street types are getting involved as well?
It's clearly a combination, and if somebody could tell me precisely the answer to that question, I think we'd all have a better sense of what's going on. If you look at the boards like Wall Street Bets and just the different Reddit chatter all over the place, I'm in several Discords and I follow the chatter, and yeah, you can tell there's retail sentiments back up. People are excited about the price movements, right? A lot of these people are more speculators than investors, but there's obviously some institutional moves. They move like a basket. Retail doesn't really trade. I don't think retail is doing high frequency trading on multiple names at once. It does seem like there's some algorithmic traders, whether those are high frequency traders that are just noting that these stocks move in tandem, right? There's obviously ETFs. You noted the Roundhill ETF that has all these stocks in a basket. So they kind of move at the hip, even though, for all intents and purposes, AMC Entertainment has nothing to do with GameStop from a fundamental perspective, but you're totally right. They very much move in tandem. One other thing I would note is I was looking at some of the short interest and short dollars outstanding. I know Bloomberg sources data from S3 partners, and I was looking at S3's data. And for example, GameStop's short interest dollars outstanding had gotten down to a low since January of 21, just shy of $1 billion per S3. And that has inflated rather rapidly, as you noted, with the price increase. And it's back over, for GameStop, it was, as of this morning, almost $3 billion. And AMC, it was a similar story, not quite the same. That combination of both short interest rising as this price has increased somewhat, as well as, of course, the price rising the dollars out. So you've got, I would say, for the whole basket, I didn't look at the entirety of the basket, but you're talking upwards of high single-digit billions of dollars incrementally short just as a byproduct of the price increases. And I saw Yahoo reporting Bill Gross talking about GameStop and AMC again, talking about them like lottery tickets. And I understand where Bill's coming from, and I think Bill actually has it right, where his firm is writing deep out of the money call options to generate income on these lottery tickets, happily selling them to the speculators. In the long run, I think Bill comes out ahead in almost all cases, but obviously he's getting burnt this past week or two.
Well, Rod, before we let you go, oftentimes we do talk about GameStop and AMC sort of together in a basket of meme stocks, and I'm wondering, AMC since about March 14th is also up triple digits, 100%. Why is it a mistake to look at these two companies together, in your opinion?
Look, I don't want to poo-poo AMC too much, but I will. That they're not a gold miner. That there's no transformation. There's a whole lot of hubbubaloo that Adam Aron is successfully engaging in to continue to raise sentiment and interest and excitement in his ape base. But there's not actually a fundamental business transformation going on at AMC. And while AMC may successfully stave off insolvency as a byproduct of the capital raises and their ability to maintain this high share price and likely dilute shareholders further in 22, while GameStop did have two successful at-the-market offerings in 2021 to raise capital and really successfully enable them to endeavor on this transformation, I would argue that GameStop does have a real strategy. As I was laying out, yes, they're taking short-term pain, which with this balance sheet revitalization, they are able to in the margin area to attract customers, to grow revenues. They've been clear now for several quarters that that's the measure shareholders should take a look at. While they have obviously been very coy and quiet, in rather opposite of Mr. Aron, I do think that a year or two from now, we'll, for example, see their NFT platform will be launched by the end of fiscal second quarter. They announced in their earnings earlier this month. So look, I could be wrong. GameStop's transformation could be a failure, but I would argue that there is, in fact, a real transformation going on at GameStop, whereas with AMC, it's just a whole lot of fool's gold.